Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
That's what Mike Phillips' new project is.
Really?
Yeah, so the Stink Bug, whatever, it's Mike's playing like lead on bass, and they have like a rhythm bass player.
Yeah,
and
there
Eric's
was a
playing
band we
guitar.
played with at Copperfest, remember? Years ago. It was literally a drum and like 3 bass. That's it. And it was
I mean, I'm sure that sounds
heavy.
dope. Yeah, I mean,
It was heavy.
I can imagine it being.
I forget their name. There's a prog band that does that too. They run 2 quad Cortex DSPs. It's 2 basses that are just absolutely insane and a really good drummer, and that's it.
yeah, I mean, look at bands like Rush and Primus, where the guitar player is kind of like the least.
Yeah, he's the
needed.
rhythm.
Yeah. I mean, Alex Lifeson's a hell of a guitar player, but you never know it because Neil Peart was such a good goddamn drummer, and Getty would be playing keyboard and playing bass with foot pedals while he's singing. Like, that's fucking insane, dude. How do you do that? Like, yeah, and then with Primus, I mean, he's had 1,500 fucking guitar players. You know Buckethead played for him at one
Yeah.
time?
What didn't they say Les was too good for Metallica? Because he
That
tried
is correct.
out.
I
That is
haven't
what
heard
James
that story.
Hetfield says. Les Claypool was trying back on that and said that is absolute bullshit. I auditioned, and it was weird. He literally said, picture me and Metallica and how I play. It wouldn't have worked. That's exactly
No,
what he said.
It was weird, but
Yeah,
Hands
Les
down
has
one
that
of my
kind of talent. You
favorites all
can't
time.
like,
You can't constrict it. It has to
Yeah.
be able to express itself.
yeah. And he's done it so well for so long. He's really fun to see live too. I've seen Primus a few times.
I want to go to that Coheed show so bad.
Yeah.
That Promise and Coheed. God, I want
Last time I saw them, they were here with Clutch, and that was kind of cool.
Clutch
'Cause I'd
is
never
good.
seen Clutch before. I'm not like a huge Clutch fan, but I feel like no disrespect to anybody that likes Clutch, but it feels like Clutch fans are like Trailer Park. You know, like it feels
they
like
listen
Trailer
to Five
Park
Finger
music.
as
You know what I
well.
mean?
It's pretty fair.
Trailer Park music.
Yeah.
Pretty fair.
Trapped in 5 Fingers in that
Trailer
playlist too, for sure.
Well, see, like Five Finger, I fall into that category. It's like I get why people shit on Five Finger.
Yeah.
I get it because they've been making the same album for
Yeah.
15 years. But you can't tell me that when you hear the bleeding, the hair on the back of your neck doesn't still stand up. That song is fucking insane.
Far From
the
Home's
one
good
thing
too.
that burnt me out on
Wash
Five
All Away is a
Finger,
good one.
there was a video of like the lead singer trying to learn guitar years ago, and he got mad and he busted it. I just order another one. I'm like, fuck you! I can't do that kind of shit. Fuck you! I'm done.
I remember way back in the day when I was in a band, we played mostly house shows and we played a couple of like actual gigs. But I remember one time I went to a pawn shop and bought like this really cheap shitty bass just so I could bash it on stage. I wanted to bash guitar.
Nice.
That's what I used to do when I play guitar for a generic
I
Terrors.
still have a piece of that guitar. You
we would
busted
we
in
would
the
go
night.
to a pawn shop and find like a shitty like $70 to $100 guitar, and I
Yeah.
would play the very last 2 songs of the set, and I would smash it, and people ate that shit the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun, dude.
But, yeah. little bit of pissing money away, but I was,
Yeah, in today's economy,
I
that's
was
not going
pretty-
to fly.
yeah.
The Terrors were wild.
You'd have to find
the
one that
Terrors
just-
were wild.
Yeah.
Is
When I
aesthetically
found
pleasing
those-
that costs
the
like
stuff we all
$30.
sang
We
about.
were talking about that. I was telling someone about Terrors yesterday, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed them.
Are we telling secrets?
Same.
Yeah, we telling secrets?
Just talking about a much wilder era
Back
of my,
when I
of my
first
life.
met Blair, like years.
A long time ago. It's about 7 years now. Seven, eight
seven,
years.
8 years. Yeah, she was in a band called Generic Terrors, and
We were just
Generic Terrors.
yeah.
Nice.
We were
It was
were
a really good band.
we were like the punk band. You know,
Yeah.
we were true and through punk almost to the point where like we got banned from places,
Mm-hmm.
banned from playing places because we were
Nice.
too fucking rowdy.
Right.
I was a raging drug addict too, so that was fun.
They were
Can't be.
bad fucking ass. Best thing since bread.
Yeah.
Calvin Crawford.
It was a good period. It was a bad period. I only remember bits and pieces of it.
I try not to look back on, darker times and like feel like guilty or bad or anything like that. I just feel like, fuck, all my experience led me here, right? So,
And I
it'd be different if I was like suffering,
And I made up for a lot of the damage. Like, I did a lot of fucking damage back in those days. Like, I really was just absolutely fucking unhinged and out of control. You couldn't
Reckless.
stop me. But that was the mixture of whiskey and oxys. Like, I was in fucking insane. But once I finally got through that period and I got clean and all that shit, I realized that, I was nothing but a spectacle for all these people. And none of them gave a fuck that I was ODing behind the dumpster at the venue I just played at. You know what I'm saying? So,
what do you think? I mean, not to like get. I don't want to play therapist or nothing, but what do you think got you there? Like,
got clean?
No. What got you to go so hard? Like, what was it that had you pushing the limits like that?
Trauma, improper upbringing, abusive households, no guidance, no love. Mother wasn't there, didn't care what I did, didn't care like what her boyfriends did to me, and just a complete and total and absolute hate for society and everything that it stood for. And the drugs just happened naturally. It started with pot, then I started with drinking, then someone introduced me to coke, and then they introduced me to pills, which I loved. I ended up loving opiates. And then it just spiraled, and then I suppressed, and then obviously having the feelings of wanting to be a woman underneath all of that shit, it was just a lot of pain and hate, and all I could feel was pain and hate. And so it just led me into like a really dark era of just, it was unfortunate if you became a part of my trajectory, whether you were a friend or an enemy, because everybody was a fucking target of my destruction.
Yeah, no one's safe.
No one was safe from me at all.
What pulled you out?
I lost my kids, and I lost my family, and I tried to kill myself, and it landed me in a psych ward. And I was able to be in there long enough to get clean and to go through my withdrawals and to talk to a very sympathetic and real human being who diagnosed me. And it's been like a long 6-year period of just
6
recovery.
years?
It's been a long 6 years of recovery. I would say probably like 4.5 of actually really not touching hard shit and just not like trying to self-destruct and take everything out with me.
Do you still have a relationship with that person?
No.
No.
I haven't seen or spoken to them or my kids in like, I think we're going on almost 5 years.
Do you see a path toward?
No.
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 Do you think that music is kind of like your new drug? Is being a performer helping at all?
Once upon a time, maybe. I kind of use music as a political outlet now.
Okay.
More than anything else, I use it as a way to reach people that I want to help and people that I want to influence, people that I want to, inspire, and also to use it as a way to call out people in the scene that I feel like don't have a place to be here anymore. So that's what music is for me now. I mean, I've been doing it for like 20 fucking years now. So all the other shit, all the other reasons I did it in the past have become a little bit jaded. So now I do music because I have something that I want to do, things I want to achieve, people I want to help. I want to help people. That's why I do music now.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. Like it's hard to stay motivated when once you get past the crazy, right? I had a wild time. I don't think it was as extreme as yours, but I had a wild time when I was younger. And like when you move on from that, like I just called it growing up. I feel like I just grew up. Like when you're in your 30s and you're trying to like snort coke, it's kind of sad. Like it's like
you're fucking around and finding out. That's what it is.
The recovery is not the same.
Yeah.
Either.
No.
And yeah, that's oh my God, that's so true. That next day is horrible, but I feel like you're growing up and it's not as exciting, right? And you got to find things. At least for me, I mean that's part of the reason I got this place is it's a way to kind of keep something fun, exciting in front of you, and that's hard to do the older you get and the more responsibility you get. You know what I'm saying?
But it's necessary. Some people don't grow up. You know, my mother's one of them. She is still doing the same shit that she was doing in her 30s, and it's sad. It's very pathetic to me. But
Do you have a relationship with her at all?
not really. I mean, we talk sometimes, but not very often. I haven't seen them since I've even started my transition. They've, not met me as a woman, known me as a woman, know me as a woman, but they've never really known me. I mean, they've never even been to a show. I've been playing music since I was 14, and they've never seen me perform. So,
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
As a mom, I'm over here just like dying inside. Like one eye's leaking right now. So
it is what it is. I've come to terms with it. I don't really have family, so I don't have family. Other than my friends, my bandmates, and the few people I allow to get close to me.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I do have a brother, but he lives in Oklahoma. We talk occasionally as well, but yeah.
Do you get a lot of support in this scene? I mean, let's just.
I do now.
Hit it head on right up front at the beginning of the show. Let's talk about it. Like a person in your position, it comes with a lot of controversy. It comes with a lot of everybody's got a fucking opinion about.
Are we
this stuff.
rolling?
Yeah, we've been rolling.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Fuck yeah. So I do now. I get a lot of support now, but I didn't the first time I tried to transition. It was a very different reaction, and I'm not gonna out anybody because I don't feel like I need to do that. But it was fucking rough, and I mean, I try to be like somewhat understanding. I mean, I was this outrageous, wild, like hardcore dude, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, so I kind of like I actually feel inside that I'm a woman, and I got ragged on for it, and people made memes of me and made fun of me, and it was really rough. And so that played a really big role in me like transitioning, which I've had 3 transitional attempts before this time of transitioning, and I think that I noticed, more people were coming out as trans. There was a little bit more acceptance now. Less people were allowing, transphobia, and I saw my chance and opportunity, and I took it. And now, I mean, the support has been overwhelmingly beautiful and surprising because I did not expect it.
But you are in the South. You're in the Bible
Yes.
Belt.
Yeah.
I think we probably don't talk about that enough. Doing what, because I'm respectful of everyone's beliefs. I've got most of my family are Christians. Like I'm probably the least like religious out of my entire family, and we just avoid this conversation. We don't even have them really anymore. And there are times like for example, there's a young lady who's a country singer who talking about Bailey.
Yeah.
She got booted out of school. Her. I mean, it's all over social media, so I'm pretty sure everyone's going to know who I'm talking about. But she was going to a Christian school, and she's been performing all over for the last few years, and she's very talented, very very talented young lady. She doesn't like party or anything. Like I said, she's a teenager. She's out there just doing her thing, and her school kicks her out right before senior year because she performs at places that serve alcohol. I'm like, that shit only happens in the South. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I come from a Christian school that tried to kick me out. They tried to kick me out for being at a party. Not partying, being there. I went to go see my friends. I almost got kicked out of school for that. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it might
just don't like to party, man.
On the
Turn water into
contrary.
wine.
On the contrary.
I mean, he did
party
hang
with
out
the
with
dudes.
like hookers and deviants and stuff.
That is a question I ask religious people all the time. Let me ask you, if Jesus was alive today, who would he be hanging out with? Would he be hanging out with the people in the church, or would he be hanging out with the people in the streets who actually needed him?
Whoever has the
Well, he sure
purest
as hell wouldn't be hanging out with the right-wing conservatives or the conservative Christians, the conservative nationalist Christians. I think that, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Man, my name is Christian. Like,
Yeah, we try really hard not to get political on the show, but I think given the conversation we're having, we can play around a little bit, and I think religion is a lot like what you're seeing today with with like conservatism and liberalism and far left, and you got all these different now there are like subcultures of the right left, right, which is weird, but I personally, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it's a direct result of people are just looking for community and meaning. I think people
100%.
We are all so fucking alone.
100%.
Right? We're all so alone, and everybody wants to be part of something. They want to be part of a group.
Politics are a lot like sports, and that's how I look at it. So like first off, I'm just gonna say fuck Donald Trump and fuck Biden. Fuck them both.
Yeah.
But that's how it works. Like people treat politicians and elections and politics like it's a fucking football team, like it's sports. And people treat all of those things like that. So they're like accessories of identity, and people latch onto them and they make it their whole identities, whether they're right or they're wrong, whether they know they're right or they're wrong. So that's why, like, I say, I'm not 100% for the left or for the right or for this or for that. I'm not red. I'm not blue. I am purple. People deserve equality. People deserve to live equally and to have rights over their bodies and what they want to do, so long as nobody is hurting another individual. We should have the rights to live, and that shouldn't be a case of left or right. That should just be a human thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, where I was going with my point, because you're one, I 100% agree with everything you just said, and to push it just one step further, if everyone that is spending all their time online fighting, trying to be right, stopped for 1 second and like had a conversation with the person they're arguing with, you're going to find that you got more in common with that person than you have differences. Yeah. Like I said, we're all so alone, right? We just want to like be loved, accepted. We want to have a group of friends we can trust and count on. And I think that need is like, people need that shit so much they're willing to compromise their core beliefs or their the things that
I don't think we've all done it.
I mean, yes,
I think we've all done it.
We've all been to middle school, right?
Yeah.
We've all been to middle school.
There's quite a few people I used to run with back in my punk days. I'm just going to use that as a term. You understand? But I chose to run with certain groups of people that, even though I knew deep down that they were not the best people, I overlooked those things because I felt included.
Yeah.
And it is a very unfortunate quality of human nature that we all are victims of.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Everyone knows the feeling of what it's like to get left out, and no one likes it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like getting picked last.
Life is just a script of Mean Girls. That's all it is.
But we have to take responsibility, though. Like that's the big thing at this point. Like, we have to take responsibility and we have to hold people accountable. I did a lot of fucked up shit in my 20s, and once I got better, I reached out to a lot of people that I hurt because I wanted to hold myself accountable. I didn't want to make excuses. I burned a lot of bridges and I hurt a lot of people. And there were reasons for that, but I didn't want to make those reasons the reason why I was reaching out. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm genuinely sorry.
Yeah.
I hope that, you've been able to heal from the damage that I caused you. And lack of accountability is a major problem with a lot of people. People don't want to just admit that they were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it all started with chat rooms back on AOL. When the whole anonymity of the internet, people's got a lot bigger balls now to say some shit than they did when I was coming up.
Yeah, it's like, say that to my face. Like,
there were consequences for running off the mouth, in the 80s and 90s, you know what I'm saying? You can't say some of the shit people say today and not get punched in the face for it. I think a lot of America's problems could be solved if people were better parents. I think it all starts at home, man. It all starts at home. I mean, I'm guilty of like pissing away time when I could be hanging out with my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're all guilty of like slipping and not always doing the right thing. But you just said earlier, your mom just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That set you on a course.
Yeah,
it made your road tougher.
I kind of just I did whatever I wanted, but the things that I wanted were the things that I I grew up around. So like, drugs, sex, rock and roll. Which who would have known? Who would have ever guessed that ended up being a bad thing for me? As it ended up being a bad thing for a lot of rock stars. That's why a lot of them either die or they get sober.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Let me ask you this. I'm kind of left turn for a second. Being sober, do you feel like your art is getting better? Or
So I wouldn't say that I'm like completely sober. I mean, I'll have a few drinks here and there and get a nice little buzz. I did stop smoking pot simply because it was giving me panic attacks, making my anxiety worse. Mm-hmm. This could be a temporary thing. Who knows? I might pick another doob up at some point. But as of right now, it just doesn't serve me. But like as far as everything else, like I don't do other drugs anymore, and I really don't get drunk, or anything like that. I don't think it does, nor will it affect my personal music or writing, because it never really had that much of an influence on why I wrote anyways.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, like smoking pot was just something that I did because I thought that it kept me mellow. And now I'm learning that I can be mellow without it. So
that's called maturity.
I think I'm more mellow without it, to be honest. You know, I can't tell you how many times I played here where I got a little too fucking high before I went on that stage. And I was in the bathroom trying not to throw up just because I was having anxiety.
Yeah.
And now I don't have that.
Well, don't smoke any on Friday the 26th. By the way, we're talking to Alpha Strain.
Yeah, what's up? We've been here for a minute.
Yeah. You can see these guys on the 26th at the Brewstock pre-party. Just so I don't know if you know this or not, but we're like almost sold out. There's like 10 tickets left.
That's so
That's
fucking,
what
so
Peter
fucking
keeps
dope.
telling me.
Like 5 or so left, actually.
Yeah, this place is going to be packed. We got a taco truck that's going to be out front. So we got a food truck coming. Shout out to Patty. Her quesadillas are insane. Butter tacos are great too. But yeah, so the Brewstock pre-party, Alpha Strain will be here. You want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm Thomas. I play the bass, and you go now.
I'm Blair. I'm on the front.
I'm Christian. I pop the G-string.
I'm Brandon.
Been waiting to say that this whole
He's our
time.
band stripper.
I'm Brandon. I play the drums.
And we do have a couple more members who couldn't be here with us today. Malik, who also plays guitar.
And Kirk, who also plays
who
guitar.
also plays guitar.
We are
Thomas,
currently
I'm
looking
curious.
for a
How do you
fourth
go
guitarist.
from punk pop to heavy metal?
Well, the break kind of helps, but I like metal more. It's easier to like just follow along and play with, but unfortunately, every time I go to write something, it's just like, oh yeah, this will be fun to show to the other band.
Can I make a comment on that too? Like, I love like all forms of music, but I'm a really big pop punk fan, and I'm also like super into heavy music.
It's so
but
fun.
there is something about heavy music that when you hear it, there's a carnal part of you that just comes out, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it. Like when you start to love heavy music, you genuinely cannot replace it with anything else.
Yeah, like
I was
it's translated into like when breakdowns. I'm hitting Alpha Strain type breakdowns, and I'm like, this just does not fit here. Look, we're not the home team.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I was actually, before I started getting really back into the heavy scene, I was playing funk bass for a band, doing like slap
Hell
bass. And, like,
yeah.
I was in a
Hell
fucking
yeah.
hard
It's
rock
so
band.
nice.
That shit's so fun to watch.
It's so groovy.
I was playing dad rock before
Yeah.
Alpha Strain got back to, or before we formed. Before Alpha Strain formed, I was in like a dad rock bullet from my.
What's wrong with
Trap
Trap rock?
cover
Hey,
band.
Bullet for My Valentine is
Bullet for My
not dad
Valentine's
rock.
not- yeah,
love
they're not
Oh
dad
well,
rock.
no. Now listen. Let's remember that a lot of us who grew up on Bullet, we're all in our early to mid 30s now. Most of us are parents.
29.
So we could, in fact, say that Bullet for My Valentine Avenged Sevenfold is the new era
No.
dad
Avenged
rock.
Sevenfold is mom rock. It will never be anything but mom rock, because every mom that I've met was like, I love Avenged Sevenfold, and I'm just like, they are fucking trash.
I like Avenged
No,
Sevenfold.
no, they-
True.
I
They're
like
one of the
Avenged
best bands ever.
Sevenfold.
No,
I actually
Up to
I gotta
Nightmare.
disagree with
That's
you, Thomas.
it. Up to Nightmare. That's
Their
it.
new shit's trash. When up until Rev died, they were writing
Correct.
fucking bangers.
Oh, I love
Correct.
those.
Absolutely.
They were
I
writing
gave
fucking
the
bangers.
stage. I think that's the album, the stage or
The
something.
stage, yeah.
I gave
It's
it
not-
a
it's not
shot.
City of Evil
I
is
didn't
one of
like
the-
it.
is that City of Evil?
The newer one.
Sound of
I
Seven
hated
Trumpet.
it.
Yeah.
Waking the Fallen,
yeah.
City of Evil,
City of Evil was brilliant.
Self-Titled, and
Self-Titled,
Nightmare all fucking works.
Yeah, those
Brilliant.
5 albums,
Brilliant.
that's Avenged
I
Sevenfold to
will
me.
say,
Anything after that, it's not very good.
It's Diamonds in the Rough. It's a DVD CD thing that they have.
Yep, I
it's
had
like
it.
live at the LLC.
Live at the LBC.
So fucking good, and that's where I fell in love. What's that song?
Lil Peep
Second
Heaven?
Heartbeat, Secondhand Heartbeat, or something like
Second
that.
Heartbeat, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking Secondhand Serenade, but yeah, Second Heartbeat. That song is so good, but after the rev, it's just I tried.
Yeah, I agree
just
with
not
you.
for me.
Well, I mean, going back to the dad rock thing, I kind of own that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like,
you do.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love that fucking early
Hey, look.
2000s.
Hey, you know what?
Fucking
Nothing
3
wrong
Days
with
Grace
it. Nothing wrong
before they
with
got rid of Adam.
I'll sing Creed
Yeah.
right now. I don't
This shit was bangers. Like we were talking earlier, like we were talking about Hinder earlier before the show started, and how they're kind of a joke now. But that one album, when it came out, it like kind of captured a whole
Yeah.
generation.
It had
Listen,
titties
listen.
on the cover. Everybody
Hinder
was gonna listen to that
was
shit.
never cool to me. I'm just gonna be blunt about
Hey.
it. I was listening to like fucking Whitechapel and Suicide Silence when all the other like I guess like cause when I went to school it was like the preppy country kids were listening to things like Nickelback and Hinder, while we were listening to like Carnifex and Slipknot, or like even like the rest of us
Luciano.
emos, because emo was the big thing. I was an emo kid. You know, we'd be like 30 Seconds to Mars, or you know,
AFI?
the Used, AFI.
AFI's the shit. My
AFI,
wife hates
AFI is
AFI,
so
but I love
fucking
them.
good.
That was my
AFI is
intro.
great.
Davey
Miss
Havoc
Murder
will
was my
always be
intro to Unclean Vocals and Miss Murder. I was just like, what is that?
Right.
And
I remember
just
that.
searched it.
I had
Miss
that
Murder's
moment
great.
with it was Job for a Cowboy. I think was the first real heavy band. Entombment of the Machine, and one of my friends showed me, and they're like, "Yo, you got to check this out." And I was like, "I didn't think there was a heavier band than Slipknot."
It kind of brings me back to like the original like Avenged Sevenfold albums, like Sounding of the Seventh Trumpet and Waking the Fallen. I think.
Waking the Fallen is
So fucking
so
heavy.
good. It's so good.
The album-
Atreyu bands like Atreyu.
Atreyu's
love
awesome.
Atreyu.
Let me say this: Waking the
I'm all about
Fallen
Atreyu.
literally was the precursor to metalcore. Once Unholy Confessions came out, every riff after that started to
Now
sound like
they
it.
really did help
Yeah,
pioneer.
that's a good observation.
A couple
Yeah.
Black Veil
Yeah.
Brides songs sounds like that shit.
Knives and
Fuck
Pens.
Who did it best?
fucking love
I'm an All That
Andy,
Remains
call
guy.
me.
I fucking
All That
love All That
Remains.
Remains. Yeah, I don't think anyone did it better than Ollie.
There was all that. So it was like Kill Switch Engage, All That Remains,
Oh, yeah.
As I Lay Dying, and
Those
then
guys are awesome.
like you had all of these, like what would become, metalcore, and we're all just like 14, 15, 16-year-old kids. And, like, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. All I know is one day I came to school and I saw kids wearing really short gym shorts with their ears stretched really big and their hair was all crazy. And I was like, am I attracted to them or do I want to be them? It was both. Come to find out. And so, like, that was a whole fucking era. Like, that was a
Yeah.
whole fucking era.
great era.
Kids now... and I can call them that. Kids now try to emulate that, and it's
What they need
so
to bring
fucking
back
wild.
are those wild ass like 2003 like band.
We
shirts.
should bring that back.
But it's
We should
so
bring that back.
expensive.
It is
Yeah,
expensive.
when you add
I mean, maybe
multicolors
not
in
through
the printing,
pandemic print works, but
Well, I mean, the whole like Genko type pant, like the '90s are kind of tracking right now. Like my
90s,
daughter's
I've
in middle
seen- yeah.
school,
90s,
and these
early
middle school-
2000s.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
kind of what that's fashion is coming back. Problem is the music sucks.
Well, there's always a resurgence. So it's like when you look at it this way, it was, like my generation, the millennials. We were heavily influenced by like the '90s and the '80s, but we also grew up with like the 2000s were forming as we were aging.
Right.
Now that we're all getting up in our middle years, now the youth before us are adapting the early to mid 2000s,
Yeah.
because there'll be a resurgence of everything, and it constantly happens like that.
Yeah,
we
like,
can honestly
my
say that like Under
5-year-old
Oath is
daughter-
classic rock now.
my 5-year-old daughter will be in the back. She's like, "I'm just a kid," and I'm like, Man, that
Yeah.
was my shit growing up.
And it's
you know
and
it
it's
from a
fucking
TikTok.
wild, man. It's crazy.
The first time I heard Pearl Jam on the classic rock station, I damn near shit myself. I was like, "Oh my god,
They were
what is happening?"
Someone was. What was it?
makes you
What's
feel
the
old.
local one around here? 1065, I think.
1065.
They were playing, like,
1065,
rock-
the
Dude,
drive.
165 was the shit in the 90s.
Chili Peppers was.
the
I mean,
end,
that's
Christian.
not classic. You shut up.
It's the end.
It's the end.
1065, the end. Sorry.
Wait,
Brandon,
which one's the
What about you?
That's probably
yeah,
from
you haven't
Fayetteville.
said much about your musical influence and stuff. What camp do you come from?
Me?
Yeah.
I just grew up listening to. My uncle got me into like Megadeth and stuff when I was a kid, and Metallica.
So
and
thrash?
stuff. Yeah, and then in high school, I really got into Slipknot hardcore and As I Lay Dying, and I just
We went to high school together,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, okay.
and that's practically where my influence came from, and it's just evolved from there. And then I discovered hardcore, and I've really been into that, like predominantly.
He was always in a Slipknot shirt in high school.
Always.
Always
Nice.
in
Slipknot
a
shirt for
fucking
every day of the week.
Slipknot shirt. He really
Did they
fucking
have
did.
sleeves though?
yeah,
Is the question.
Yeah, and I cut the sleeves off. I started that in high school.
I was gonna say, how long have you been doing that?
Since high
Since high
school.
school. Okay.
Like,
Hasn't
I,
Dude,
I
I'm
bet
with
you all
you,
of
bro.
his
I
nice
got so
shirts
many
are the
cut
ones
off
with
sleeves at my. I mean, that's how I roll at
Just
home.
so much more comfortable for a drummer. It just is.
Have you always been a metal drummer?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is my first band. This
Oh,
is
no
my
shit.
first-
So,
Yeah.
so
Him and Malik.
Okay.
So Malik and Brandon, this is their first project. Brandon actually reached out to me because me and Chris, because ex-vocalist of
Yeah,
Alpha Strain
Christian.
before I took the front, like we were putting out some demo shit or whatever, and Brandon reached out to me and was like, "Yo, I really fuck with this. Will you give me a shot?" Now I had never really seen him play drums. I knew he played drums because he always said he played drums, but I'd never seen it. And I was just like, all right, fuck it, dude, whatever, let's try it. And I remember I was super hard ass with you on that first rehearsal. I was
Oh, yeah.
I was like, so this is how it's gonna go. I need you to fucking kill it, and I need you to show me that you want it, or you're not gonna get it. And I remember after our first run through, everybody went outside, and I was like, yeah, man, I just don't feel like you want it. Like, I want to see that you want it. And he just has been annihilating it and growing and getting better and growing and getting better. Like,
Breaking cymbals.
I told you guys this last time-
The whole time. I think we played Trauma Bondage like 20 times that day.
Yeah.
I was tired of that song by the time we left.
Well, I can't remember if it was you or Thomas I was talking to last time y'all played here. I made the comment, like, 'cause y'all been here, what, 3 or 4 times?
Roughly.
And you've gotten tighter every time.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
the
yeah, I
first time you
remember.
played here, it was a little loose. It was a little sloppy.
yeah. And can I say, like, Tour
Tour
got
defined,
us
like molded
super
us.
fucking tight.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for us all to get together. Like, like they live like a bit of an hour away. The rest of us all live in Charlotte.
This is the most we've been together since tour. Like, cause
Yeah,
just life's
honestly.
been
First
crazy
time
as
all
soon
of
as
us
we
been
got
together.
back.
But, like, respectfully, we came back from tour and shit
Shit
just
hit
went
the
fucking
fan.
crazy for
Yeah,
all of us.
the
Our
whole
personal
scene.
lives just, like, our personal lives got fucking
welcome.
crazy.
Okay, I shouldn't say shit like that. I am seeing a different energy. It took a while. It took us about a year and a half being here because we're right at a year and a half being open. But there's definitely something in the air right now.
Just watching multiple bands, just like, damn, that was the best I've ever heard you play.
Yeah.
And then the next time that they play, you're like, fuck.
And
I
it's
didn't
really,
think you
it's
could be
we've
last
had
time.
that experience with bands that we played with when we first started.
Yeah.
And just it's really beautiful to see everybody continue to grow. The scene is fucking booming right now. There's
Yeah.
a lot of phenomenal bands. Shout out to
Watching
Bunker Hill
all the-
Bloodbath and Demiurge. I love y'all. Y'all are my favorite.
God, I fucking love Demiurge. Watching these bands grow, like especially the newer ones grow, is fun to see. Especially being seasoned, because I've been in the scene for roughly 10 years now. Just like bands that I didn't like when I first started, because they starting out, they didn't sound
Yeah.
good in my opinion. But now I love them. But
Seeing a lot of
It's just
new
beautiful to
blood
see.
too, like the
Beautiful to see.
younger kids, like because we're all older, and I've been in the scene since I was 14, so really long time, and now we're seeing a lot of the newer, like the new generation come in.
Well, it's almost
and do
like there's
this.
there's a generation in there that just that doesn't exist in the scene and in the bars and the clubs and stuff, like, because like everyone's either like in their 30s or 40s
Or close to it.
or they're like teenagers and early 20s. That like 25 to 33 range, I don't know where those people are. They just don't come out.
A lot of people, I will say this, a lot of people from what I call the old scene, like they just have, a lot of them have families and a lot of them diverged away from it.
Yeah.
A lot of people I came up with doing music with and stuff like that, there's some that are still doing it and there's others that are just doing other things.
Yeah.
And respectfully so, like not everybody sticks to this.
Right.
This isn't a full lifestyle for everyone.
No, but those that do it, they come back to it, and they're just like, because if you put it on the back burner to live life, get married, have kids, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like,
You have to
I want that
you,
again.
you have to catch up, and that's something I really want to say is like, and I'm not gonna out anybody, but I had a bit of an argumentative conversation with somebody recently, a musician who's in a up and starting band, and they just had it seemed like they had a lot of ego coming at me, being like, oh well, I played with this band and this band and this band, and I played in this many states and these many countries, and I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit. Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
what
we
you've
don't play
done,
the ego
dude.
shit here either.
It's
She'll
like
shut that shit down in a
you
heartbeat.
haven't been active in the scene, like active in this scene for how long? And you got to understand that like there's new blood, there's new generation, like things have changed, and nobody gives a fuck what you used to do. It's what are you doing now?
Yeah.
You still have to come into the scene and prove yourself.
Yeah,
like,
there's a handful of bands, and I'm not going to out anybody either. But there's a handful of bands that I just don't fuck with because they don't promote their shows. They don't. They got, like you said, like an ego about them, a sense of
in,
entitlement
they're
about them, and you might get away with it one time here. Maybe I don't know and I don't see it coming, but that'll be the last time you play here. You come with that kind of
venues
energy.
and bands need to promote their fucking shows.
And
That was a
promoters.
big problem on tour. Like, I think I spoke to one guy we played, at one of the states that we played at, and we were talking. He's like, yeah, I didn't even put this show on our Instagram. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. That's probably why there's only like 20-some people here. And it's shit. Like, if a venue's like, well, bands need to promote, but then don't promote themselves, it's like, well, what the fuck do you think your job is? Do you not want attendance? Do you not want to make money?
Yeah, that's what we tell everybody. Like when we book shows, like we're going to promote every show just as hard as every other show. Like we don't bury shows.
Yeah.
We got accused of that.
we did.
But yeah, you all know who I'm talking about.
I don't
yeah,
think you
we
gotta
did.
call it an accusation, man. I don't think you gotta
My
call it an
brain,
accusation.
my brain just was like, we did.
Yeah, and I was just like, you're fucking insane, man. Like, but I mean, it's important.
Just for example, the times you guys have posted the brew stock stuff, like that should say alone. Like you posted that I think like 10 times. I've shared it pretty much every time.
Straight
like,
up, y'all
that
have
goes to
helped
show you guys
Rooster.
are pushing towards it.
And we have a
system.
we have a system for how we promote shows. Like we have a system for how we run everything business wise on our end. Like if we have, and we're not booking a lot of shows for the rest of the year. We do have some coming up, and we have some cool things coming up. We'll talk about that at the end.
Thrown out for us not to be booking the rest of the year.
Basically, it's like, okay, so we have this show coming up. So we're going to promote this show first, and we're going to make sure that we try. I don't like to promote all of our shows all at
Well,
once.
no, that's not how you do it. Yeah.
So it's like,
because you're basically telling everybody you're cannibalizing
Yes.
Like,
the shows that way.
I would prefer it's like this is what's coming. It's like a list,
And we do
That's
so,
fine,
and we
but
do that. So it's
flyers
like we'll do like as soon as we get a show and we're on it, we'll do a first announcement. We'll be like, hey, we just got added to this show, and then we won't say anything else for a little bit because we have this one we need to focus on. And when it comes down to that 2-week wire, that's usually when we hard.
Yeah, 2 weeks out is when you really start pushing.
Because
yeah.
I don't like to oversaturate, and I don't like to spam our social media accounts. I don't like. Yes, people are like, you need to constantly post, but also you can overpost,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
overpromote,
Yeah, people
you
just
can
love-
overbook.
I don't want to see that anymore.
I've seen and noticed that with like pre-save links and stuff like that for upcoming stuff, which we haven't shared it yet. Well, I've been sharing the link personally. Of course, I've sent it to y'all, and August 2nd, we got something coming out with the new EP. But I've learned that just constantly pushing and pushing and pushing, just nobody's going to see it. It's just going to get ignored.
Yeah.
You got to post enough, but not too much.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
we have like a system, kind of like you said. You have a structure. We have a structure. Like she does, like all of our good posts that people engage with are the ones she does. I do like, here's what we're doing this week. Here's what I've got like a Monday and a Tuesday thing that I do to kind of like here's what's coming. And the only reason I do that is to just be consistent. Like I want to be consistent because it seems like those are the one. That's how more people see stuff when you're consistent. Like if we fall off for a week, it feels like we set ourselves back, like way back.
Yeah.
If we don't, and I try not to overdo it. Like there are a lot of times we'll post at the same exact time.
I'll post something. He'll post something 3 minutes later. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
And that's
And I try to avoid that because something's getting buried.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting too in the weeds with promotion. Like, let's talk about the music.
okay, sure.
Yeah, let's talk about. Sorry.
It's all good. Hey, this has been good. This has been fun.
So you've had some some lineup changes here and there. Like what do you, Christian? How's it been joining? The
It
band?
was great because originally when I first found out about Alpha Strain, my old band was booked with them, and I was like, I'm big about finding out what the bands I'm playing would sound like so I know how to prepare, right? So I went and I listened to Alpha Strain, and I was like, dude,
You dropped like
this is
$60
good.
on merch that night.
I
too.
was like, I wish I was in this band, and then so I saw they were playing with one of my favorite bands, Heirloom, and I was going to go out to go see them, and like I ran into Blair, talked to them, and I had noticed that in the videos I'd seen from them, they were a 5-piece. Then they had dropped down to a 4, so I respectfully reached out, like, hey, I know you guys had 5 members. What happened to the other one? And Blair was like, oh, he stepped away, and I said, please, can I try out? And she was like, yeah, she had me over, and it's been a ride. Like my first conversation with Blair was like, yeah, we're gonna need you to bunker down. We need someone who's gonna be ready to tour in a couple
I was like,
months.
you need
practice.
gear. You need to go get you a
Yeah,
cab.
yeah, because
Get
I
a
had the
fucking
Helix.
cab.
I had the Helix at the time, so like I was DIing a lot. But she was like, "You need to have a cab." I ended up getting one of those. That's why I got the Marshall and stuff, which was a good investment. I like it, but it's been a ride for sure.
And is he fitting in?
Oh,
well,
fuck
to
yeah.
that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a great fit. It's been a lot of fun.
Very creative.
Very creative. We've been working on a lot of new Alpha Strain music, trying to get prepped for next year.
Yeah, he's going to be a crucial role to our growth and evolution.
Absolutely, and has been honestly. Yeah.
Right on. Congratulations, man.
Oh, yeah, Christian.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Feels like Christian was just here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. That's why Christian knew we were rolling from the get-go.
Yeah.
He was just sitting there like, yeah.
I'm like, well, it's time. Gotta look good.
Sweet, man. Well, I'm excited to see you again. Like I said, you've gotten better each time you've played here. That's one of the most fun things about doing what I do is watching growth. You know, for, like you, it's hard to tell the first time you see like a younger band or a newer band. You never know if they're going to be together in 2 months or not. And,
Right.
True.
You know, and you know when bands do stick together, and like you've had members step away, you've brought in new people. Like this band is surviving, weathering the storm. I should say is a good analogy there. You've weathered the storm, and you just keep getting better, and it's pretty fucking awesome.
And
man.
our sound's evolved a lot since we first started, and that's come with like member changes.
We were very metalcore.
We were very
when
like
we first
new
started.
metalcore kind of when we started. That's when Christian was still in the band. It's weird because it's like now
They
it's
replaced
Chris with a
Christian
K.
with Christian.
Yeah.
It's very, very.
But no, so it's like me and Chris were the main ones writing then, but he was the primary one writing a lot of the guitar work and stuff, and I was just adapting it live while pitching in a little bit here and there. And then once he left, I kind of took over like the initial guitar writing and song structure, and I was like, yo, I want to be heavier. Let's drop the new metalcore shit and let's go like hardcore beat down. And that's the route we've been going. That's what the new EP essentially is going to be. It's got like one older song from that
it's
era.
Got trust issue. It's the last of
It's-
like the Chris era.
Yeah,
I
Like
guess.
like that whole
Label it
era
if
of
you
that
want.
style and influence, and then like the shit we're writing is it's heavy.
It's
fucking nasty.
It's gonna be going
Yeah,
more
I mean,
towards like
just
a
wait,
slam
'cause,
direction.
Of course, y'all have heard Chucklehead. It's on there. We'll have Knee Slapper, and of course, like I said, trust issues.
Yeah.
It's just so nasty.
There's a
It
few.
sounds
There's
so
a few
nasty.
songs we play live that we didn't record for our own personal reasons. This first EP's like only like 3 songs, 4 songs.
It was gonna be 4, but Hood Wage got
Yeah,
beefy.
we
so it'll just be a
I
single
wasn't
later.
happy with how Hood Wage came out, and I was like, we can structure this song better. So it's called Microdose for a reason, because it's only like 3 fucking songs, but it's enough to put some music out there.
Yeah, have something out there that people can stream and listen to. Now you said earlier that you it's just kind of an outlet for you politically. Has there ever been a situation where you brought something to the table and the guys are like, it's a little too much, or
There was one with me, and I'm trying to remember what it was, and it was funny.
I'm trying to find out where the line's at. Like, how far are you willing to push?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the
Butt
thing.
stuff, was it?
No, it was, I mean, there's always butt stuff. We're Alpha strangers. We love it. my wife was texting me, so how's tour going? I'm like, it's great, but people keep making gay jokes in the van. She's like, are you like I forget what she said, but I was like, I'm pretty sure they're not joking.
Well, here's the thing about that. Like, I am a very political person, and I personally don't give a fuck how people feel about that. I do believe if you're an artist, you should use your platform for good. There's a lot of things going on, especially here in America right now, that we do need people to put more attention on. We could be just like every other heavy band and talk about how tough we are and all this nonsensical
drawn
macho
out.
bullshit that I don't give a fuck about any of that anymore. You know,
It's overdone.
I want to reach people through our music, and I want to talk about shit that needs to be fucking talked about, like transphobia, slave wage, inequality in our country, all of these things that need to be spoken about. So people who are like, keep politics out of metal. It's like, why? What are you fucking scared of? I'm sorry. Like, not everything can be about fucking murder and macho tough guy bullshit and getting fucked up all the time. So I am cautious with certain things. I've toned it down a lot, actually, to be honest. And I don't push certain agendas quite as hard as I did because I don't want everything I do to be about being trans or being queer.
I think the reason
whatever.
a lot of people say that is because it's the same as it's like being a business owner, and like I never get political. Why? Because I don't want to alienate half of my potential customer base, right? So a lot of bands play it safe because they want they want everyone to enjoy it. And I'll be honest, it has been wonderful since we opened to watch people start to come back, like different groups of people start to come back to the same place. Because for a while there, everyone kind of split off into their ideological bubbles.
Yeah.
And now we're finally starting to see people come back together and have fun. And there was a time before the internet where like you could hate your neighbor's opinion on the politics, but you were still buddies.
Yeah.
Like you could. There's a thing called discourse. Right, you can engage in discourse and have conversations with people you disagree with and still respect each other. It's the same reason I don't really have a problem with religious people, specifically Christians. I have a problem with the extreme ones.
And you see, and
You know what I'm saying?
that's where that's where I want to draw the line so that people understand. Like, I'm not saying that we can't have some different viewpoints and not be friends, but I am going to draw the line, though, at fascism and bigotry. That's where I draw the line. If you support a faction that is directly trying to take rights away from women and the queer community and marginalized people, then there is no, we can have different opinions and we're cool. Because I am at war with that shit. I want to completely fucking annihilate it from having any voice, because I don't think that fascists deserve to have a voice in politics, and I don't believe that these hard right-wing conservative cunts should have a right to dictate anything for anybody, especially not a bunch of straight old white men who are trying to tell women what the fuck they can do with their fucking bodies.
Yeah.
So yes, we can have different opinions. Yes, we can have different religious beliefs. But once you start condoning certain realms of anti-human rights, no, I can't fuck with you at that point.
What is a basic human
and
right?
It's basic. Like, if you're not for basic human rights and you support factions that are also not for basic human rights, then we have problems, we have issues. And that's like, I do draw the line. I don't want everybody to like our music. I do want to push certain people out. I don't want certain people being fans of us because fuck certain people, you know? Like, that's just how I am. And yeah, I'm not speaking for everyone in my band either. You know, like, we all have our different beliefs, you know, like, we're all very diverse people, you know, like, Brandon's completely straight, I'm completely queer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know, there's a lot of diversity in our band. And I do believe in...
Thomas is black.
Yeah.
Thomas is black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, like, so it's, and I'm not like, I'm not some like hyper justice warrior, like going after everybody for every little thing. But some things are just, they shouldn't be tolerated. And that's my point.
I hear you completely. I do. Like, I do agree with you that, you know, like fascists, you can say the same thing about Marxists. You know, it's I call it extreme. Anyone with an extreme viewpoint, that's my line. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, because that person's not going to listen to anything you have to say.
Exactly, yeah.
That person, they're not willing to listen. They're not willing to learn. But I think the vast majority of people, if you can engage in discourse, if you can engage in a conversation, a lot of times that someone will learn something they didn't know before.
That's what I was going to say, is because once everybody starts coming back together and realizing you can respect someone to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
And then that's when people start to learn. They're like, well, maybe trans people are not what I thought they were.
Well,
they're a lot better.
Listen, that has happened. I've had people
Right.
message me privately even,
Yeah.
and just be like, "Yo, I just want to say that like I've watched your stuff. I've been paying attention. You've taught me a lot about like trans people, or like I've even like I notice when I go somewhere that I haven't been before. Sometimes places that I have been, and they've all seen this happen, where the energy shifts when I'm in the room. People are looking at me, trying to figure me out.
Yeah.
You know, people are uncomfortable by me. Sometimes, or a lot of the times, people don't know how to react or engage me. And then I step on stage and I do what the fuck I do. And then everybody is like, their energy and their aura changes. And that's why I do this. It's one of the biggest reasons. It's because I want to expose people to, you know, the fact that trans women exist and we exist in hardcore. There's actually a lot of us out there now. And I want to show people that, like, I'm just a normal person just like you. We like the same shit. We're here doing the same thing. Just because I'm trans doesn't make any fuck of a difference. And I've had people reach out and be like, yo, you know, like, you've actually kind of helped show me that, you know, like, all the things that I'm seeing on the internet and seeing on the news and all that anti-trans propaganda, it's not true.
Well, one of the things I want to compliment you. One of the things that I appreciate about you is your ability to, like, articulate.
Very much so.
Right? Like, being able to have this conversation and not get over emotional. Being able to, like, have a conversation with somebody, specifically people that don't agree with you or your lifestyle, and not, like, just go for the jugular. Because I think you're going to get it's the old adage, you attract more bees with honey, you know, than you do with vinegar. You know, because when you're able to come from, like, a human place, like, you're not caught up in the left right of it all. You can. There's opportunity for growth and learning and all that stuff, and I appreciate that about.
And I am. I'm non-affiliated when it comes to politically. You know, I believe that people are entitled to their basic human rights. You know, I do have other standpoints on things, like I do believe like we should have better health care and better education.
Oh, for sure.
We shouldn't be waging war against our homeless, and there's, you know, that is our failed system's fault for
how many billions they sent to Ukraine and in Israel. Meanwhile, there's there's a homelessness problem right now. Like,
while we were all taught charity
go to
starts
Los
at home,
Angeles.
and they don't follow through.
Go to
with it.
California for a minute, because what happened was we were in
where
COVID.
me and Peter are from, Taylorsville. Yeah, there's like a big surge. There's like 10 homeless people there now. There used to be like just one guy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot now.
So
I'm saying, go to California right now. Like, after when COVID happened, a lot of the homeless people went to California, particularly like San Diego and Los Angeles, because the weather year round, you can live outside and it hardly ever rains. There is miles, like miles of your downtown Los Angeles, your downtown San Diego, of just tents and canopies,
And what's
it's awful.
And what's
to see.
crazy is like they're like, well, how do we fix this problem? Well, maybe we should just make it illegal to be homeless, and they'll just migrate somewhere else. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like the solution.
That's little
It's
fascism.
it's fucking crazy.
One of the craziest things is on tour a couple years back. We were in Atlanta, and they had better phones than me. Like a homeless man walked up and was like, "Hey, can I bum $1?" I was like, "Man, I'm sorry, I don't carry cash." She's like, "Oh, man, I got Cash App." Floored me. I was like, "Man, fuck it. Here's 10." Like that's never happened to me before. It's never happening again. But
Yeah, it really.
it's impressive that they all were all just like a whole mile of sidewalk, and it's just tents, and they're just out on the scrolling on their phones.
Well, we're not going to solve all the world's problems today, but I will say this: homelessness is a business, right? For state
Homelessness
and federal
is a
governments.
business. Mental
There's-
illness is a business.
Yeah, there's millions and millions of dollars that are devoted to helping the homeless. That's all like taxpayer funded stuff, but a lot of that money is giving people jobs. It's not like if your job is to work with the homeless and you get all the homeless in homes, then you have no job, right? So there's like job security and not solving the problem. You know what I mean?
There's
And that's the
Yes.
part of it that no one talks about. They want to blame somebody for it, and the truth is, if you want to blame anyone for it, you can blame greedy motherfuckers,
Well,
right?
blame
Because
our
like capitalism
capitalist
only works.
fucking
Capitalism
government.
works if you don't reward bad behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But our
Like-
capitalism isn't working.
No, well, we don't have capitalism anymore. We have oligarchy now.
Oh, that's fair.
And
just
again, I don't
like
want to get too. I
malarkey.
really don't
No,
want to do
no,
this.
it's
I'm trying
okay.
so hard.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
trying
We
so-
can have this conversation some
All
other
the camera
time.
conversation.
I'm sure it's okay.
We can have this
All
conversation
bands.
another time.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
You gotta go to work. Yeah,
I do gotta go to work. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw to this camera. I want you guys to give us your best promo for your upcoming show and where to find you.
All right.
You talk best. You
All
do
right,
it.
so check it out. Carnival of Chaos, Asheville, on the 20th. Come check us out. There's going to be a lot of fucking awesome bands. Also, we have an EP coming out
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
I take back what I said about you talking.
Microdose.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Like, it's when I have to do it. It's when it gets crazy. We got new music coming out. Thank you to everybody who supports us. Thank you to everybody who's been there since the beginning, and to all the new people who have just entered the Strain saga. We appreciate you, and we hope you like the things that are coming out soon. Also, Brew Stock on the 26th. Come fucking check us out. It's going to be right here, and it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
As
Tickets
of-
are limited.
Yes, as of right now, we are almost sold out. We are almost a single-digit amount of tickets. So get
That's
it now.
right. Yeah, get the tickets now and be here. It's going to be a sold-out show. We got a taco truck. Who else we got on that show? We got Sugar, the System of a Down tribute.
That's gonna be
We got
sick.
Sid Stratton.
and Oh
Gone
You Pretty
Cold.
Things.
Gone Cold.
Yeah.
And
And
Oh You Pretty Things. Yeah.
They're
Yeah, we
so
love Oh
good.
You Pretty
Yes.
Things.
And one last thing to remember: Blair don't smoke. I know, but you can never outsmoke the Strain.
Even though I'm
Never.
out, you still can't outsmoke. 'cause
You will
can't
never
outsmoke
outsmoke
him.
the Strain.
This motherfucker's insane.
Those videos had me
Yeah,
dying.
they were great, weren't they? And
They were the best.
and they didn't outsmoke us. I don't care what
No.
they say. They did not.
Catcher in the
outsmoke
Rye
us.
gave up day one.
Oh, no
Yeah,
shit.
Day one.
Yeah.
They was like, we cannot outsmoke the Strain.
Goonlord,
You can
Goonlord,
outdrink
Goonlord
the
held their
Strain.
own. They held their
can't
own pretty
outsmoke
good. Thank you for checking us out. If you're checking us out, trans rights are human rights, and fuck yeah,
Obey the strain, baby.
obey the strain.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having
Peace
us.
and love.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Holy shit.